Welcome to the Week 8 preview episode. It is just me and Brad here today because Josh is taking a bit of hiatus because he said he can't be on podcast that endorses Brock Osweiler as a Thursday night MVP. But welcome back to the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. It's your co-host Pat Curran here, and Brad is with me today, and we're going to be breaking down the games for you for Week 8, and I am pumped. We got some good games ahead of us to break down, tell you all the players that are going to have some big days, and who to start, who to sit. And we are watching Thursday Night Football right now, watching the magic that is Brock Osweiler. And so we'll recap that at the end of the show. Brad, go ahead and say what you got to say.
All right, Josh wanted to be here, but he's taking care of his sick son. We hope you get better, Bo.
Yeah, get better, Bo. We miss you, Josh. I'm going to have to pick up the slack because we know what he brings to the show. But
I feel like there's going to be a lot of cracking limbs and a lot of deep dives.
It could be. Spelunking with Pat's going to come back. And we can talk trash about Trey Burton because no one's here to defend him.
All right.
So let's get into these games. Brad, I'm going to start it off with you. We're both doing well for all you listeners. Brad's doing well. I'm doing well. Brad has Brad the dad problems, but, that's to be expected with kids. And Elsa the Aussie's still doing well, everyone. Getting into these games now, it's time for Wembley Stadium. And all those guards of the Queen, whatever they're called.
The Royal Guard?
Yep, there you go. We got Eagles at Jags, and we all know how well the Jags play in London. This is a 9:30 Eastern start time, people, so make sure you set your lineups early or late Saturday night. Oh, we're just going to keep this London fog rolling? All right, take it away, Brad. Eagles at Jags.
Yeah, Eagles at Jags, right? So you said it right. Jaguars always play good in London, right? Blake Bortles, are we starting this week against the Eagles defense? Who hasn't been that good on the road?
I got a question for you. When will we see Cody Kessler come in? Not if. When?
We won't. I think Blake's going to throw for 4 touchdowns in this game. He'll have a pick, but 4 touchdowns.
Wow, okay. You're really digging those London vibes for Blake.
He performs in London. Jacksonville knows how to prepare for a London game. I don't know how they can prepare for other games, but they know how to prepare for a London game. And A.J. Boye has been in a walking boot this week, so I do worry about the Jacksonville defense, who's already had some troubles.
How do you think Wentz will do against that defense?
Wentz will be okay. He's still a starting quarterback this week, but he's a low-end start. I'm not really super excited about him, but if you probably drafted Wentz, you're probably having to start him. But the biggest question for the Eagles is running backs.
Yes.
Are we starting any running backs? Do you even want to start Corey Clement or Wendell Smallwood in this matchup? I don't.
Not unless all my running backs are on those 4 bye weeks which we have, which are Atlanta, Dallas, the LA Chargers, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm starting.
I don't even want to flex one of these running backs. And the same thing goes for Jacksonville, too. Running back side there.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, what do you think Carlos Hyde's going to do?
So Carlos Hyde was actually wanting to play last week. He wanted to be in the game. He was saying, I got the playbook. I'm good. I got this. It was a coaching decision to make him wait another week.
You got the playbook. Yeah, find the hole and hit it.
Yeah, I mean, it's running back, right? So that was Carlos Hyde. And then TJ Yeldon's still going to be the passing down guy, so I think you might be able to get a little work there. But both these defenses are really good against the run. So I don't want to start Carlos Hyde this week. But if you have to, because I would rather start one of them than the Eagles running backs. Now, Blake's thrown for 4 touchdowns, right? So that means I'm got to say a Jacksonville wide receiver is going to be good, right?
DD
is my guy. I think he gets 1 touchdown, probably 7 catches for 60 yards.
And who's the other guy? Keelan Cole?
Dante Moncrief is getting multiple touchdowns this week. Multiple.
That Eagles secondary obviously does not scare you.
They have 1 good corner.
They got Malcolm Jenkins.
That's the 1 good corner.
Oh, he's a safety.
Well, he's a safety, whatever. Defensive
back.
1
good defensive back.
There you go. So I'm not too worried about it. Jacksonville game, just like last week, we got to watch the injury reports after the travel happens, because we saw what happened with Melvin Gordon once he got off the plane. Hamstring tightened up. This could happen to any of these other players, so just watch out. If anything happens to a TJ Yeldon, I am firing Carlos Hyde up with no reservations about it if he's going to be the lead back there. Tight end wise, obviously Zach Ertz is a must go. Jacksonville, no thank you.
Are you buying into Dallas Goedert yet?
No.
Okay.
Just because, not with a healthy Zach Ertz.
If you're playing him, you need a touchdown from him.
If you're a Hooper owner and your backup is, nobody else on by has a good tight end. Never mind, there's other tight ends out there.
Yeah, no, not really.
So, there's probably better tight end options out there than that. And Oshag Hennessy for the Jags is probably going to be out again, so.
Oshag Hennessy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The Key and Field spec.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
O'Shaughnessy is the Jacksonville.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Just like AA run. Okay. All right. So now, next game. The Jets, Jets. At the Bears, but they only say that chant when they're doing well and they're winning, which is what is not going to happen in this game. Big news out of this game. No, Busta Screen's injured. But really, the bigger news is Bilal Powell is out for the season, which means Isaiah Crowell is the back now. Not just a tandem, running back by committee. He is the back. Banged up Jets secondary meets a hot Mitchell Trubisky. So if you got Trubisky, you're starting him. If he's there on waivers, he's a waiver claim streamable quarterback this week.
I'd start him over Wentz.
Yes.
This week.
Absolutely. He's coming in hot. We see what he can do with the legs. And this Jets secondary they are exposed. Marlon Mack. Are you starting Marlon Mack? Sorry. Khalil Mack. Yep, I just wrote Mack.
That's Khalil Mack, I'll start him on IDP.
Yeah. Khalil Mack going up against a banged-up Jets O-line. So we already said
Khalil Mack's banged up, too.
But he played against the Patriots. He does,
but he is banged up, and you can tell he doesn't have the fire and the intensity that he had in the first couple weeks of the season.
All right, so what I'm mentioning an O-line and a defensive player on a fantasy football podcast is, what is the Crow going to do with no Bilal Powell and Sam Darnold, who isn't really that great? So he's not really... The box is going to be full against the Crow. Yeah, I see it. I synced it. DeAndre Hopkins just scored. Do you think the Crow's numbers are going to go up because he's going to get all these carries now that Powell's gone? Because we've seen what he can do when he gets a lot of carries.
No.
Okay.
Just because I think this is going to be a bad game all around. I think Chicago's going to score early and fast, and they're going to be playing from behind, and that does not bode well for Crowell.
Is Crow a viable passing option guy? Can he catch?
He can catch, but I don't think they're going to use him in that role.
All right. And then the Jets defense has allowed 4 100-plus yard rushers in 7 games. So now that defense meets Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Now we know Tariq Cohen isn't really a rushing guy. He's more catching out of the backfield. Like him and Taylor Gabriel are your guys that are just running jet sweeps and all these special plays. Just get the ball in those guys' hands and they'll make something happen. That's why you can go ahead and flex Tariq Cohen and Taylor Gabriel this week against a banged-up Jets defense. They're going to get up early. They have Mitchell Trubisky who's going to make it happen with the legs. He starts scrambling around in the pocket. That defense claps on him. And now you got Cohen or Gabriel running drags across the scrimmage line and just getting that ball. And I do look for Jordan Howard to have a pretty good game. Again, they have allowed a lot of rushing yards to okay running backs, but Jordan Howard is more than just an okay running back. Start your Bears, sit your Jets.
What about Trenton Cannon for the Jets? He's the guy that's going to be taking over that Bilal Powell passing downward guy. With them playing from behind, do you see him doing anything good? He had 4 catches last week for 69 yards against Minnesota.
I mean, it really depends on your depth, who's on a bye, what you need in your lineup, and how much you're really looking for a best-case scenario. But, yeah, I mean, if you're a Bilal Powell owner, go and get him.
Okay.
But that's how I feel about that.
Yep. I agree with almost all that.
Almost all that. Wow. I'm obviously not spelunking enough.
No, you're not.
But I'll go spelunking this next game. We got the Bucs at the Bengals.
Buccaneers.
This is back in America.
At the Bengals. It is. So no more London fog for us. We have Jameis Winston versus Andy Dalton, right? I'm saying we can start them both. Jameis makes just enough mistakes that makes him have to throw the ball enough. And it makes everything good for you, right? And then Andy Dalton, this game is not in prime time, so we can not maybe trust Andy Dalton so much, but this Buccaneers defense is bad.
Is this a shootout game?
Yeah, and that's another reason why Jameis is going to be a viable play is because they're going to be chasing points. Bengals-wise, I'm starting everybody. I'm starting Joe Mixon.
It's going to be a big game for Joe Mixon?
I think it'll be a relatively large game. It'll be a big-time bounce. All the Bengals are going to bounce back from last week.
Over under 18 points.
In PPR?
Yes.
I'll go over.
Ooh.
But not much over.
Ooh.
There it is. Ooh. Nice lead up to it. Tyler Boyd's going to have a little bounce back game. I think Andy Dalton went back, looked at some film, and realized, man, this guy gets open too. Maybe I should show him the ball instead of just targeting AJ Green the whole time and throwing interceptions.
Good strategy.
Uzama, start him.
Yeah, a touchdown
This
catch.
Bucs defense is bad, so I'm starting all my Bengals. And then
OJ Howard or Uzama?
OJ Howard.
Devontae Parker is a good receiver.
He's a very good receiver.
I don't understand. Okay, back to this game, though.
Yeah, we'll get
One more question for you. You feeling the Peyton Barber hype? That train that's rolling through now that Jameis Winston's back?
They cannot run the ball in Tampa Bay. If Vontaze Burfict isn't there, it'll help out the Bucs defense. Peyton Barber is the first running back this year to have a touchdown run last week. That was week 7. It took 7 weeks for a running back to get a rushing touchdown.
Okay, he still gets passing game work.
When he catches it. I don't like the Buccaneers run game just because, not this week because I think they're going to be behind. I think the Bengals are going to come out with something to prove.
So even catching the ball, you don't like Peyton Barber this week?
No, especially not Peyton Barber. I think Ronald Jones is probably going to take over. Peyton Barber's a little banged up. He didn't even practice today, so he might not even play. I'm stashing Ronald Jones, and Peyton Barber is probably a hold if you have him because you probably can't trade him. Cameron Brate, and then O.J. Howard. Obviously, O.J. Howard's the primary guy there.
Yeah, what a change from a season ago.
Yeah, and then wide receiver-wise, Chris Godwin. He's over top of Deshaun Jackson this week for me. Deshaun Jackson's week last week would have been terrible if he hadn't had that rushing touchdown.
Yes.
He had a rushing
did.
touchdown. So that's what I think. Obviously, Mike Evans is a must-start.
Yes.
Just because he gets the targets.
Yeah, absolutely. Jameis Winston actually knows how to use them now.
Anything else here?
Just surprised about Deshaun Jackson over.
I mean, Chris Godwin over Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah. A little surprised there.
Chris Godwin gets a lot of red zone targets.
Jackson's a playmaker. You want to get the ball in your playmakers. They'll figure out a way to get the ball in the playmaker.
And if Ryan Fitzmagic was there, he'd be getting the ball to him. But Jameis...
Well, he just flings it all over the place
Yeah.
with a reckless abandon.
Exactly.
All right, next game we got here is Seattle at Detroit. So not much from this game, just because I do think this game's going to be a relatively close game. Is Seattle a playoff contender?
I mean, they're playing for a wild card.
Well, yeah. That's still playoffs.
Yeah. They got to sure have some things on defense. I think they're more of a work in progress. They might make the playoffs this year, but I think they're kind of building this team for next year.
Well, if they are a playoff contender, it's because of the one man named Russell Wilson, who you're going to start this week. The running back situation is still running back by committee. So you got Penny, Chris Carson, and Mike Davis. Carson, Penny are really the top two guys, though. If you're starting Mike Davis, you are struggling.
I'd start Mike Davis over Rashad Penny. Mike Davis has been getting more work than Rashad Penny the last couple of weeks.
He got 6 carries last week. 6.
Yeah. Well, last week he had none. They were on bye.
Okay. The last game they played, he had 6 carries. All right, the only 2 receivers that interest me in this matchup are Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett, and that is it.
Nick Vannett?
No, we're not going to talk about Seattle tight ends. We didn't even talk about Will Dissly when he was actually worth talking about And now that he's out, we're definitely not going to spend time on Seattle tight ends. On the other side of the ball, though, we got Theo Riddick coming into this game as questionable. Do you care?
I do care a little bit because it's another running back to take carries and snaps away from Kerryon Johnson.
Which, if this game is close, they're going to want to run the ball if they're up by a score or so to chew some clock, or if they're just up in general. So Kerryon had a pretty big week last week, 143 yards on the ground. So are people starting to get on the Kerryon train a little too hot, or is this something we can expect from Kerryon Johnson moving forward?
So the Kerryon train was super hot in the offseason, right? And then it's cooled off because of just what they were doing there. And then last week, obviously, he had 100 and bazillion yards, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
But no touchdowns because of Garrett Bunt's there.
Vultures.
But if Theo Riddick's there, and like you said, Theo Riddick's still going to come down in third downs to catch the ball, even though Kerryon Johnson's maybe not as good of a pass catcher, but pretty good playmaker.
Oh, yeah.
And it keeps the defense a little more honest because I think when a defense sees Theo Riddick in the backfield, they know it's a pass play.
Absolutely.
With Kerryon Johnson, you have to play both. And that's might be what happens. 3rd and 5, you see Theo Riddick come in there, and he catches the ball instead of Kerryon Johnson. And that takes away, that's a point and a half in PPR.
It's true. But we shall see what happens in this game. Keep an eye out as the week moves forward to Sunday for Theo Riddick's health. Matt Stafford, you're going to start him, and then we got the 3 receivers. Golden Tate, Kenny Golladay starts, and then Marvin Jones. If you need that flex option, he's on your bench, and you got those guys on a bye, like those Atlanta receivers or even LA receivers. Then you might need to start Marvin Jones in a flex option, which isn't bad because that Seattle defense is not the Legion of Boom anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Great radio disagreeing with all these.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not spelunking yet, so.
No, you haven't. I thought you might go with the Lions tight end there because you like to pick some random tight end, so there's no good tight end matchups.
Not this matchup.
Okay.
But
maybe next one?
Give me 2 more games. All right, going on 2. We got the Broncos at the Chiefs. So like you said, you always love breaking down the Chiefs because of all their players. I got a few questions for you, and I'll start with the Broncos side of the ball. Can Case Keenum compete in a shootout?
No. You're praying that they're down and they're throwing the ball a lot, but the problem is this game is at Kansas City. Kansas City's going to put up a lot of points. I know
they're going to be loud.
Yeah, and I know the Denver defense played Kansas City well for 3 quarters last time they played, but that was at Denver, which is a lot different than playing at Kansas City.
Get the altitude and everything.
Yeah, they get a lot of stuff on their side. You're going to have the Chiefs. You're going to have there's a loud stadium, like you said, especially when they're winning and they're doing good.
Which they have been.
So, Case Keenum, no. But what you do is hope is that they get down by a couple scores. He has to throw the ball a lot, and it makes him fantasy relevant. And really, you're not banking on Case Keenum as much as you are Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas and Phillip Lindsay catching some passing down work. And
so speaking of Lindsay, what are the value of these Denver running backs in a shootout?
So here's the thing. Remember last week I said I want to see Phillip Lindsay with 20 touches? Mm-hmm. It could happen this week because Royce Freeman is still not practicing with that high ankle sprain. So if Royce Freeman is out, yeah, we'll see some Devontae Booker out there. But obviously there's not 3 backs to split it between. That's going to give Phillip Lindsay a couple more touches, which could put him above that 20 threshold, which I think makes Phillip Lindsay a great start against a pretty suspect Chiefs defense. Yes, they played good for the last couple weeks, but let's be honest, that's not going to be the norm all season. So I like Phillip Lindsay a lot this week. He's in my top 5 of running backs.
Ooh, it's a bit of a hot take there.
Well, when Zeke and Melvin Gordon are on a bye, it opens up some slots up there.
Yeah, I guess so. That's Phillip Lindsay rocketing into the top 5 running backs for week 8. All right, let's move over to, do you want to talk? I mean, we kind of already talked about it.
Chiefs, you start them all.
I was going to say Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas. Those.
So Emmanuel Sanders is a must start. Demaryius is a flex play, very touchdown dependent, and you're praying for a touchdown. Tight end wise, there I don't really trust any of the tight ends of the Broncos, but whatever. Chiefs.
Well, like you said, it's going to be a shootout. They're going to be throwing the ball, so
Yeah, so maybe a tight end catches a touchdown is all you're praying for. Chiefs is start them all. I mean, if you got a Chief, these are easy decisions.
Are you selling Sammy Watkins before the trade deadline in your fantasy football league? So.
It depends on what I'm getting for him. If I'm getting a RB2, yeah, I'll sell him for a good RB2. But I'm not just going to sell him to sell him.
I feel like this is a piece you have to sell in person so you can talk him up. Like, he's on the Chiefs. He's got Patrick Mahomes. His offense is explosive.
You need a good week. If he has a good week this week from him, you could sell him. But if he has a subpar week like we've seen him have a couple weeks, it's going to be harder to sell him. I mean, it's always easier to sell if they have a big week. If he has another 100-yard game, 5 or 6 catches for 100 yards, you can sell that pretty easily. I don't know if you'd want to sell it. I don't know what your other wide receivers on your team look like.
Right.
And that's going to be another thing that plays into it.
Well,
if you want to be really sneaky with it, you sell him to somebody you're playing when the Chiefs have their bye week in week 12.
Ooh, that's just dirty.
It's smart.
That's just dirty. Maybe you could package him up with a bench running back and get Will Fuller.
Yeah, see who you're playing in week 12 and see if there's something on their team that you like and see if you can sell him for that.
All right. That pretty much wraps up that game. We're going to move on now to the Redskins at the Giants. So we got a good NFC East matchup here. It's not really a good NFC East matchup because the Giants are involved. But
Can I stop you real quick? They're showing this road trip Deshaun Watson did to Jacksonville. Yes, 25 hours. He was on a tour bus. Let's not act like he was driving in a Prius there. You know, he wasn't in some little Ford Escort cramped up.
Oh, yeah, he's really rough
with like 7 pillows and having to drive the whole way and staying up.
Yeah.
He didn't drive. He slept in the back. He probably had every video game system, movie ever made, Wi-Fi, internet, DirecTV. He had it all.
Yeah, he's not in a beat-up, old Jeep or old Saturn just stressing whether or not he's going to make it there or not. He probably was relaxing in that tour bus.
Yeah, I get it. He took a bus there, but I'm pretty sure players from the 50s are like, oh, you took a bus? What kind of bus? We took school buses with no heat or AC.
Yeah, watch a league of their own and then tell me about buses. All right, Redskins at Giants. You got one of the best defenses, Washington, going up against one of the worst defenses, the New York Giants. Uh-oh.
Do we want to talk about this right now?
You can. I mean, might as well because we just paused.
Yeah, Will Fuller's on the ground holding his knee. Obviously, it doesn't look good.
Getting medical attention.
Hopefully it's nothing too bad. Hopefully he's just cramping up.
He has been playing a lot tonight and getting a lot of balls thrown his way.
He has. We'll see what it is. We'll keep you updated.
Obviously,
by the time you hear this, it'll probably be a little more.
Now that Sammy Watkins for Will Fuller looks more doable.
Yeah, it does.
Pass rush will be a problem for the Giants and Eli because the Redskins have a very good pass rush. So that's just going to boost Saquon Barkley and Ingram's value because they are some check down targets, and I think they're going to come up big when Eli's just getting bombarded by this Washington pass rush because, newsflash, that Giant O-line is garbage.
It's bad. It's so bad.
So check downs will come up pretty big. What's Odell going to do in this game for the Giants?
What's Odell going to do for the Giants?
What is Odell going to do? Is he going to punch sideline equipment? Is he going to complain they didn't go for it on 5th down? Or is he going to drop another 2-point conversion?
No, I think what we saw from the last couple of games is that Pat Shurmur wants Eli to throw the ball to Odell more. You can read his lips on the sidelines, him saying, throw the ball to Odell. Like, just throw it. Like, I don't care if it's interception. Like, we're not playing for a Super Bowl this year. Throw the ball to Odell.
Give it to your best player.
Yeah.
Pretty good idea.
Maybe he'll make a play and we can get it. Whatever. So I think Odell will get a lot of targets. They're going to drop a lot of plays for him. The problem is how deep are these targets going to be? Are they going to be 5 yards from the line of scrimmage because Eli's under distress and has no time to even look anywhere? Because if that's the case, it's going to be a lot easier for these corners to press him and get up on him and play him a little tighter and not have to play off because they know Eli doesn't have 5 seconds for Odell to get deep.
No.
So you can play a little more risky and get up in his face and push him around the line of scrimmage. And don't have to worry about getting beat so much because even if he beats you, Eli's on his back by the time he's down there.
Exactly. Speaking of Giant receivers, Sterling Shepard's going to come back down to earth, so don't be expecting.
I thought that was going to be a nice segue to Evan Ingram because he's a big guy. Giant receivers. And you go to Evan Ingram, who's tall and big. See, you can't be wasting these little perfect segues you got.
You should have just came in. I mean, I already talked about Evan Ingram.
Or that could have, oh man, that could have been so much.
Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped
the ball. Speaking of these giant receivers, I don't know.
All right, well, Evan Ingram has not come up that big this year, even though he is a big man.
He's been hurt.
Well, he's been on the field sometimes, and he hasn't been that great. Let's move over to the Washington side of the ball. Chris Thompson is still questionable. He's back on the practice field. He wants to play, but he is still questionable. Adrian Peterson is a full go. Jordan Reed is a full go as of right now. And Washington defense, streamable?
Oh, very streamable. They're probably owned because they've actually been pretty good this year.
They have.
But, yeah, you're definitely starting them this week just because of that. I mean, how bad that offensive line is. You're hoping Saquon can break something. But we saw what they did to Zeke last week. They shut Zeke down.
They did.
So Saquon's a little bit different style of running back. It's a little different style of offense. But still, if they contain Saquon, this Giants offense is going to have trouble.
We'll see. We'll see if they can contain Saquon after containing Zeke. But I do like Chris Thompson if he's a full go in this matchup. I don't mind Adrian Peterson or Jordan Reed. God, I hate Alex Smith. And does Washington even have receivers? None worth mentioning.
So if Chris Thompson doesn't go, what about Bibbs?
Yeah, just because they're going to be down. Or no, sorry, they will not be down. If you need a replacement for Chris Thompson, sure, but I think there's better replacements out there.
Okay.
Like, well, this
Carlos
point, the waiver wire
Hyde
is
or
pretty thin.
Capri Bibbs?
Hyde. I think he's ready to play for his new
Bucs
team.
running back or Capri Bibbs?
I'm a Peyton Barber guy. I like Peyton Barber.
Okay. All right.
But, that's me. We're going to disagree. That makes for good radio. Now we're going to move on to another game we're going to disagree on. It's going to be the Browns at Steelers in a rematch of the Week 1 tie. Ooh.
What if they tie again?
That would be awesome and hilarious.
That'd be great radio, right? Man, Nuke is so amazing. Okay.
He is. And that's why he throw to Odell. Same reason, just throw to Nuke.
Yeah.
He'll make a play.
Yeah. All right. So Browns at Steelers. You want to start Browns side? You want to start Steelers side, Pat? You tell me, because we can go either way here.
Fine, we'll start with the Browns. Are we over the Baker hype?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not over it. This week with Phillip Rivers being on a bye, Matt Ryan being on a bye, you may possibly need to start another
So you like Baker because of the bye weeks.
So the bye weeks this week and matchups for other teams. So we talked about Case Keenum earlier that possibly could be good. We don't like Wentz that much this week. Yeah, I'm crazy high on Blake Bortles this week, but most people aren't going to be. So you're probably going to see a lot of people starting Baker again this week against the Steelers defense that has been wishy-washy. We've seen good things and we've seen a lot of very, very bad things from them. Like Ryan Fitzmagic.
Hey, he was magic.
He was. All right. So the Browns, but Baker Mayfield, you can start him. He's a low-end quarterback start this week, but you can start him. Nick Chubb.
There we go. I was about to say what you said.
I know you were.
So Nick Chubb or Duke Johnson?
Nick Chubb.
You had a Twitter poll on it. Twitter poll did say Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that was last week. I still say Nick Chubb. The Nick Chubb hype is crazy. It's not. It might be bigger than Saquon Barkley hype from the offseason, just because Saquon actually lived up to the hype. I don't think Nick Chubb is living up to the hype.
It's been 1 week.
It has been 1 week, but 1 week with Saquon Barkley was
okay. You cannot say Saquon and Nick Chubb in the same sentence and expect the same results.
I'm just talking about
that is
the
not
hype.
fair.
The
to
midseason
Nick
hype
Chubb.
for Nick Chubb is getting crazy.
Go Dogs.
But this could be a really good game for Nick Chubb. Steelers defense stopping the run. It's been middle of the pack this year. I like it a lot. I know I'm starting Nick Chubb in the league. We talked about the running backs that are on the bye this week.
Is that because you have to because of the bye week, or you just like his upside this week?
It's a little bit of both. I have to because of the bye weeks, but I wanted to before the bye. Like I saw the bye week. Does that make sense?
So your hand wasn't necessarily forced.
Right.
All right.
My hand was forced the way I wanted it to be forced. How about that?
It was consensual.
Yeah. Jarvis Landry. Does Jarvis Landry have another game like he had last week? Do they target him again?
Yeah, of course.
Do they target him 18 times?
No.
They might have to, though. If they are down, Baker's going to have to throw the ball a lot to match Big Ben. And it is home Big Ben, so...
And they don't have a lot of... The receiving core isn't great. It's Jarvis Landry and then a huge drop-off, which is also why I like David Njoku.
Oh, David Njoku's a must-start tight end. Tight end is so bad. If you have David Njoku, you were so happy with it, even though he hasn't been that great.
He hasn't been that great, but luckily Baker has come in, because before Baker with Tyrod Taylor, he was just... You were sad.
Yeah. And then the Steelers side. It's home Big Ben. Fire him up.
You do love your home Big Ben.
Yeah. Browns defense has been pretty good, but James Conner's still a start. Antonio Brown's a must start. Juju's a must start. Now the question for it is, tight end, Jesse James or Vance McDonald?
I didn't know that was a question, but...
It's Vance McDonald, right?
Hey, you're burying the lead, because I know you like to say that. There's no Lev Bell.
Yeah, there's no Lev Bell, because I said James Conner would start.
So before we get into this weird tight end conversation we're about to have, when, if ever, are you selling James Conner?
I mean, you're trying to sell him every day you can. Every day.
Really? Even with the production that he's put up? Because with the production that he's put up, and you're probably starting him, you've been pretty happy with it. So
yeah, but you see an expiration date on it. It's like when you open the fridge and you got milk that's like 1 or 2 days at its expiration date, and you give it the sniff test, and you're like, I'll give it a go. That's what you're doing with James Conner. One of these days you're going to pull it out of there, and it's going to be bad. It's going to expire on you, and it's just going to be nasty milk that you got to throw away.
Okay.
That was pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I really love it. Put a lot of thought into that one.
Yeah.
James Conner is expired milk.
He's not milk in your fridge. It's not expired yet. It's just right there. It's at its date.
He's just
like
milk.
Some people don't want to touch it, but some people are like, I need to eat my cereal. I ain't going to the store.
I can still milk this for another week or two. I hope.
Exactly. Keep the puns a rolling.
All right. Back to this tight end conversation. I like Vance McDonald.
I do too, a lot this week. I know I'm starting him because I'm an Austin Hooper owner, so I think he is a...
I mean, aside from 1 week, has Jesse James really done anything this season?
No, I mean, in PPR he had a couple decent weeks, but nothing good. Vance McDonald is the guy they want to get the ball to there. I can see him having a pretty good week. Ooh, Brocktober just got Halloweened by the honey badger.
Wow. All right. Does that wrap up your Browns at Steelers?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you wanting to start either one of these defenses, streaming either one of them? The Steelers.
I don't like Cleveland's defense against the Steelers at home. I don't mind the Steelers' defense against the...
You're praying for turnovers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to stop the yardage or the points. So you really need turnovers or some crazy defensive touchdown to help you out there.
They don't call a flag on that? Tyrann Mathieu landed his whole body on Brock Osweiler. Is it because he's 190 pounds?
No, it's because no one likes Brock Osweiler. Moving on to the Ravens at the Panthers. So John Brown is the best Raven wide receiver. It is not Michael Crabtree. This is how it's been for a while now. We can all agree to that.
But Crabtree gets the targets.
Crabtree gets the targets, but you know who else has been productive in a Ravens uniform? Willie Snead.
He has been.
So
he also drops a lot of passes.
Hey, he's been putting up points. So if you're out there trying to get a 10 or 11 point game to fill a gap for a Keenan Allen or Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, Willie Snead could be out there in your league. He might be a good option to fill that gap for a week or two. I like Alex Collins over Buck Allen in this matchup.
I do too.
The reason being is I think the Ravens are going to win this matchup against the Panthers. I think it'll be a close game, however. I think the Ravens will get up, and I think they'll want to chew clock and control the tempo and the possession, which is why I think Alex Collins is going to be better than Buck Allen. Alex Collins has been the better back this season. He just hasn't had the statistics to prove it. I know. And this Brad had a salty reaction to the game we're watching, and rightfully so, because Brock just keeps overthrowing people by miles. So we don't have the tight end wheel for Baltimore tonight because Josh isn't here, but I got the tight end on tap. Here's my spelunking with Pat segment. Hayden Hurst, baby.
We're going 3 weeks in a row because he won the wheel the last 2 weeks. So we're just going 3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, crap.
No, it's good. It's good. With 3 weeks in a row, we eventually got to hit it if we just keep picking the same ones over and
That's
over
right.
again.
Yeah. You play the same numbers on the Powerball, we will play the same tight end.
Is Mike Gesicki going to quit trying to hurdle people? He keeps getting flipped over.
He gets destroyed when he tries to do that. But that's part of the reason I picked Hayden Hurst this week is because I've been watching Mike Gesicki tonight, and I'm thinking there's a rookie tight end vibe going around. So I'm picking up Hayden Hurst. All right, on the Panthers side of the ball, Cam Newton was limited in practice.
I don't care. He's playing.
Okay.
It's Cam.
The other people I like on the Panthers are Chris McCaffrey, obviously, Devin Funchess, and Greg Olsen. That is pretty much it.
So with Devin Funchess, would you rather start Chris Godwin with the Buccaneers chasing Bengals points or Devin Funchess against a pretty good
Godwin.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ravens have a very good defense.
Yeah, and I do wonder about that with Jimmy Smith and the defense. Because the Panthers did nothing for 3 quarters against the Eagles' defense. For 3 quarters, they were shut out.
I mean, Cam Newton, he's going to play, but will he be full health? And what will that do?
He's still 160 pounds back there.
I know.
Running over
I think he's 250, but...
Oh, sorry, I said 160.
You did, yeah.
I meant 260 pounds.
160 is not very intimidating. You're going to roll out Cario Santos out there and put him behind center. Ooh. And you can tap dance in between the tackles. Okay, that's all I got for this game. Anything else?
No. Did you say you like Joe Flacco this week or no? You said just nothing about it.
I didn't really talk about him, to be honest.
All right. Just want to make sure I don't like Joe Flacco this week.
Before we go to our next game, I love watching players do block in the backs and then put their hands up like they didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's clear as day, pal.
Yeah, come on. What do you want?
And when you do it, you know you did it because you saw the numbers and you pushed them. Next game is yours, by the way. Colts at Raiders.
So Marshawn Lynch is on the IR. I think we brought it up last episode. Officially on the IR. The muscle hamster's back. Do we care? Do you care about Doug or not?
Okay. I don't care about anyone on the Raiders.
Not even Jordy? The number one now that Amari Cooper's gone?
They might go winless. Sure. Put Jordy in there. That's it. Amari's gone. Lynch is on the IR. Doug Martin.
Bryan's getting the start.
Oh, my God. That's what it has come to in Oakland.
What do you think he could do with 6 targets? I don't think he's ever got 6 targets in his career in a game.
No. It's because he's been rolling 6 joints when he's on the bench.
Well, a lot of people do that. Josh Gordon did that, and you love him now, so.
Well, it's different. Anyway. God, the Raiders have just...
What about, okay, on a serious note, though, Jalen Richard, they're going to be probably down.
Okay. Jordy and Jalen Richard are the only Raiders I like in this matchup.
Just because by the fact of sheer targets. What about Jared Cook, too? I like Jared Cook this week as a tight end play.
Like you said, they're going to be chasing points and they're going to be down.
Yeah, so they're going to be throwing the ball.
I mean, granted, they don't have Amari Cooper.
Jared
Cooper was there.
Now the only big wide receiver they have. They have no big physical wide receiver. So, I like Jared Cook. Colts side, Marlon Mack did not practice today because of an ankle injury, so we do have to monitor that. If Marlon Mack is out there, I love him this week because I think the Colts get up by a lot, and it's a great game script for him to get a bunch of carries.
Okay, that was one of the questions I had. The other Colt question I had, do you know there's 3 tight ends right now? You got Eric Ebron, you got Jack Doyle with a possible return this week, and you got Eric Swoop, who has been battling a knee injury.
And who has been getting lucky with touchdown catches.
Do we need a Colt tight end wheel?
No. It's the only one I really want to start right now is Eric Ebron because I still wonder about Jack Doyle's health and how many snaps he's going to get. So I do like Eric Ebron this week still because the Raiders' defense is pretty bad. T.Y. is a great play this week, but something I'm looking to do after this game, if T.Y. blows up, is sell on T.Y. because they have 2 matchups with the Jaguars coming up and they just have a bad matchups down the road. So you take T.Y. on his 2 big games and you sell him to somebody because you could probably get something really good at him because it's T.Y. He's got a history with Andrew Luck.
That's true. Might be another one of those trades you need to talk up, but sure, sell him. Before we move on, we got a Will Fuller update. He is out for the rest of the game with a knee injury, which is obvious because they're winning and they're going to win. They don't need him to come back. But he was seen on the sideline saying that he is fine. He's mouthing "I'm fine" to his teammates. So that's
and he walked off the field too, which is always good.
Yeah, that's reassuring.
But
okay.
that
Colts,
wraps up Raiders.
Yeah.
Colts defense. You want to start them? No, because they're all beat up. Because it's at Oakland.
I mean, I guess Oakland has a better offense than Buffalo does, so you can't expect what happened last week to happen this week.
Okay, yeah. I really don't want neither one of these defenses.
They're not
What
attractive.
about Vinatieri? Do you think Vinatieri plays?
Yeah, he's back. He's back at practice. His kicks have sounded real solid. That's the report coming out of their, Indy camp.
He rubbed that TB12 kale on his groin.
He did, yeah. He called up his old buddy Tom and said, "Hey, I'm off the steroids, so I need your kale juice." Yeah, that's why I got rid of him, right? Shooting up. I'm serious. Look at his kicking leg compared to his plant leg. Good
Look
God.
at quarterbacks' throwing arm compared to their non-throwing arm.
That's different.
How is that different?
It just is.
How is that different? It's not.
Listen, he was shooting up. The Patriots are like, "We're a clean team. We don't want none of that."
Oh, a clean team, eh?
Now we're going to move on to the Packers at the Rams. This is going to be a shootout. There's going to be lots of offense is expected in this matchup. The reason being, you got the Rams and you got the Packers. I know the Rams have a good defense, but they're going up against someone named Aaron Rodgers, who has Devontae Adams, who's just been remarkable this season. Randall Cobb is coming back, and Geronimo Allison both on track to play. If that happens, your Marquise Valdez-Scantling owners out there, he's going to be in a very reduced role. So I know you're riding that train for a while. If Cobb and Geronimo are back, sorry all you Scantling owners, but I don't think he's very startable this week at all. And you got Jimmy Graham. Like I said, tight end pool is short, so go ahead and start Jimmy Graham. Had a very productive week last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? Either way, it's Jimmy Graham. You're going to start him. It's still a running back committee there in Green Bay. Aaron Jones is the best running back, and if they're facing the Rams, it's going to be a shootout. Aaron Jones is that guy who can catch those balls out of the backfield.
You don't think Montgomery gets a lot more work?
He gets work.
Because he is a wide receiver who lines up at the running back position.
I mean, yeah, if you need those roles to fill a running back slot because of your bye weeks or injuries, what have you, sure. I wouldn't hate starting Ty Montgomery this week. You're going to be watching that game like a hawk, though, praying to God he gets in the game and gets those catches. Moving over to the Rams side of the ball, just like the Chiefs, it's pretty easy. Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp. Now, if you're a Rams defense
Is Kupp going to play?
From what I got in my report, yes. But again, this is Thursday night. You're going to be listening to this on Friday morning. So monitor that during the weekend. Now, Jared Goff has been in the MVP talks. Or they say you should consider Jared Goff as an MVP candidate. Is that crazy?
No, he's a quarterback. On a team that's undefeated.
Yeah, but look at his weapons.
But if they go undefeated, whatever. Look at Tom Brady's weapons he had when they went undefeated through the season.
I guess that's true. But it's funny they mentioned Jared Goff as the MVP and not that running back there who's really the MVP of that team.
He's a running back.
Is Todd Gurley. I mean,
the quarterback, anytime
if there's ever been a deserving running back of an MVP, it is Todd Gurley. So far this season.
Yeah, he probably would have got it last year had he played week 17. So some questions I've been seeing around Twitter and around Facebook with the Rams. Are you worried, being a Rams owner, because I know you have Gurley in a lot of places, so do I, of them possibly resting them in week 16 and 17.
I am terrified of them resting them.
Like only playing a quarter or a half with the guys and just resting them.
Yeah.
Championship game.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Believe me, I thought about that. I am
you
terrified.
Sell any of these guys because
Oh
of this.
my God. No. The trade deadline is like 2 weeks away.
What about one of the wide receivers? Maybe not Todd Gurley, but what about one of the wide receivers? Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks.
Who are you selling them for?
I don't know. If one of them has a blow-up game this week and you try
I think that's a bold move, and I don't think that's a bad move. But, man, I mean, sometimes you got to ride the horses that got you there.
Okay.
That's what the Sox are doing in the World Series.
I agree with you completely, too, because it scares you being a Todd Gurley owner. Like, are they going to just...
Yeah, it's a terrible thought to have, but you know it's a reality.
Yeah.
Ride the ponies that got you to the show.
Because I know, like, we were talking this week, and you said, I love having Todd Gurley because you can almost pencil him in for, like, almost 30 points every week.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, it's like, oh, there's my 30-point cushion.
Yeah.
At the running back position.
Exactly. He's a running back that puts up great quarterback numbers. It's insane.
Yeah. He is, for people that played like I did back in the early 2000s, LaDainian Tomlinson or Marshall Faulk back in the day. Having one of those guys in a PPR style league, oh my gosh, you were almost unstoppable.
Yeah. You should do an all-time fantasy team.
I don't know how you'd score that.
Me neither, but wouldn't that be something? All right, going back to Brad's games now. We got, this should be a fun one.
Ooh, I know. You just did the firecracker one. Now I get a big firecracker. It's a firecracker because both teams are red.
Combined 2 wins. 49ers at Cardinals. They're both 1-6.
So, good news on the Cardinals side is that Mike McCoy got fired. Byron Leftwich came in. He said he wants to get David Johnson involved like Bruce Arians did. David Johnson was there under Bruce Arians as an offensive assistant. So
you mean Byron Leftwich was?
Yeah.
Okay.
What'd I say?
David Johnson.
Sorry. David Johnson obviously was too. Byron Leftwich was there as an offensive assistant. So if he brings in that Arians style offense, this is going to help open up things a lot more. It's going to help Larry Fitzgerald, right? Because who's been having a terrible year. He got a touchdown last week, which made you think, oh my God, please be coming back. David Johnson, who's just been yucky. Hey, let's run him up the middle. There's 17 guys there, but we're just going to, it's like Novocaine. Eventually it's going to work, right? Calm down, Denzel.
Is that how that works?
Yep.
Okay.
And then Christian Kirk. So 49ers defense is not that good.
You know me, I'm a Christian Kirk guy, but I'm also a Texas A&M guy.
So, I mean, Christian Kirk, 3 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. That is very doable. I mean, Richard Sherman isn't keeping up with him.
A touchdown, huh?
Yeah.
That's something he hasn't really had all season.
Well, he's had those long ones, right? It's going to have to be a long one for him to get a touchdown.
Yeah. But no, I don't mind Christian Kirk.
Now, on the 49ers side, it's at Cardinals, right? So I actually like the Arizona defense this week, which makes me a little scared of a C.J. Beathard.
Who's the better 1-6 team?
If the Cardinals offense gets right, I think the Cardinals are.
What a political answer. I think it's the 49ers. I think they're the better team. I think the 49ers
Even if Matt Breida doesn't play?
Yep. Which is what I was going to ask you. What's the running back situation?
Okay, if Matt Breida doesn't play, because Moosters look good. But like I said, Arizona.
Will Alfred Morris come back if Burrito does not play?
Well, Alfred Morris was back last week. So, but do you like Alfred Morris? Like watching him run is just, he's slow. You know he's not going to break any big runs. Like you're like, he got 5 yards. That'll make his average go up. And that's not good.
Okay. So the running back situation is not great.
Chris Goodwin is going to be not so good this week because a guy named Patrick Peterson, who trade rumors were swirling around, and then he said, I want to be in Arizona so I can see this being a game where he just says, I'm going to take this dude and I'm going to shut him down.
So you think Marquise Goodwin's going to be with Peterson all night?
Oh, yeah. I think Peterson's just going to be like, give me this guy. He ain't doing nothing.
Okay.
And then Pierre Garçon has not been practicing.
He's old.
He is old.
He's resting those
But
bones.
it's Thursday. Usually they're at least limited in practice.
He's old.
Okay, he's old. You're right. But George Kittle is a go. George Kittle is a full go, automatic start every week, tight end this year. Rest of this year. I don't think there's any questions about that.
No,
Between
especially
how bad
with the tight end
ends
landscape.
are. And George Kittle does it for his fantasy owners. Did you hear about this?
No.
So the touchdown he got last week that was getting reviewed, I guess Aaron Donald came up to him and was like, that wasn't a touchdown. He's like, it's got to be. I got to do it for my fantasy coaches.
Did he really?
That's what the report is that he said to Aaron Donald.
I love that. I'm taking him first overall, first pick next year in some league that I don't care about. Just for that.
Yep. Just because he said that, right?
Hey. It's a player's coach or coach's player. You guys know what I meant. So that's all we got from that matchup of 1-6 stalwarts there.
David Johnson must go. I didn't say it, but you got to start.
It's like the only one we're talking about. Well, I mean, I guess George Kittle. All right, Sunday Night Football. We got Carrie Underwood in-house for Sunday Night Football. Not really here. That would be going crazy if that was the case. We got the Saints at the Vikings. Drew Brees, yes. Kirk Cousins, yes. Mark Ingram, Kamara, yes.
Do you worry about Drew Brees outdoors, Minnesota, Everson Griffin back?
No.
Possible no Xavier Rhodes, but.
No.
Okay.
Brees has been doing this a while. He's been playing great defenses. He's been playing outdoors.
Jameis Winston.
It's not going to be a dome game.
Andy Dalton or Drew Brees this week. Andy Dalton's playing Tampa Bay.
I know. I'm thinking.
Hey, isn't that weird that you have to think about that one?
It is, because not only is he playing outdoors, he's playing in Minnesota against a pretty good defense. Yeah. But it's still Drew Brees, and
it's still Drew Brees. Remember when people were saying that Peyton Manning? It's still Peyton Manning, and he was just out there throwing.
Okay, that's different. Peyton Manning is throwing ducks. Drew Brees is still throwing like Drew Brees. Ben Watson's a pretty good tight end option. Do you agree?
Yeah, tight ends suck. So, yep.
Okay.
He's a possible touchdown.
Michael Thomas is a boss. You know who else is a boss? Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Do you think Stephon Diggs will get Lattimore all game, or do you think Lattimore will be on Thielen?
I think Lattimore will be on Diggs all year, but Lattimore
all year,
all week. But we saw what happened last time Lattimore was on Diggs. Lattimore hasn't been right since that play in the playoffs where Diggs caught that one over him and he missed the tackle.
Shell shock.
Yeah, Lattimore hasn't been right all year since that play.
Wait a minute. The Vikings play in a dome.
No, they don't. They play outdoors now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. This ain't Dante Culpepper getting his roll
on. No.
Right?
The Super Bowl was in.
It wasn't. That was at New Orleans. That game was.
The Super Bowl that they just played this past year was in Minnesota, and they played in the dome because Minnesota has a new dome. When the dome was being built, they played at University of Minnesota, which is an outdoor field. Go ahead and fact check me on that.
Maybe it's a retractable roof.
Maybe it is. But if it's cold enough, won't they close the damn roof?
Not if they want to slow down Drew Brees.
All right. While you're looking that up, I'll go ahead and say these other obvious facts that you're going to start Kyle Rudolph at tight end. And the other receivers bouncing back over to the Saints side of the ball. Traquan Smith, you're going to start him. And then Cam Meredith, I think there's so many better options out there. But, I mean, I guess if you're really scraping the surface for wide receivers because of bye weeks, injuries, and all that nonsense, go ahead and put in Cam Meredith and hope for the best. So now going to these Viking running backs. Cook will be back. However, I still think it'll be a running back by committee with Latavius Murray because Murray's had great production. And even though Cook is back, he's still going to be nursing his injury because he's not going to be back right away to the Dalvin Cook we all saw and loved in his beginning of his rookie season before he got hurt. Clearly, he hasn't really been right since. So I hope he is because he's a fun running back to watch when he is at full health. All right, you got my dome facts there?
It mimics a retractable roof. So it has a retractable roof.
So therefore, it is
possibly a dome.
Oh,
possibly. We're both right.
Don't say that. political BS. We're not.
It's a translucent roof, so even when it's closed.
So it's a greenhouse. That's what you're telling me. That's what a greenhouse is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, while you were looking that up, I talked about the Minnesota running backs, running back by committee, kind of even with Dalvin Cook coming back. Do you agree with that? Since he's still going to be nursing his injury.
Yeah, and I don't think Dalvin Cook's back. I think they came out and said again he probably won't be back till after the bye week, just like Leonard Fournette. They're trying to get his legs right.
They said they expect him to come back.
I hope they rest him. Let the hamstrings get right. Rub them down with butter or milk or whatever Josh says.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's a mixture of butter and milk, but not buttermilk. All right, so that's your Sunday night matchup. Saints and Vikings should be a great game. Now we're going to move over to Monday Night Football with a terrible commentating crew and Booger McFarland and his Booger Mobile. We got the Pats at the Bills. What you're going to do here is you're going to start all the Pats and you're going to start almost no Bills.
Do you worry about them getting up so much that James White, Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman get kind of rested? That they let Kenyon Barner run the clock out?
As a fantasy owner of those players, sure.
As a Patriot, honestly, we made the joke about Jonas Gray this week, right? And this is a similar game strip to what Jonas Gray did. It was a primetime game where we thought they were going to do all this other stuff, and they came out and they just shoved the ball down their throat with a running back that nobody ever heard of.
Yes, exactly. That was also against Indy, though, who has a terrible rushing defense, especially against Patriots.
Marlon Mack just ran over these Buffalo Bills.
I'm not saying it isn't possible, but this is a different Patriot than that one time with Jonas Gray. And it's a division matchup. And historically, division matchups have been kind of close, especially when the Patriots go to Buffalo. Now, they don't lose in Buffalo, but they're closer games. However, this game's not going to be close. They're going to smoke the Bills. Derek Anderson will be starting as from what we know right now. Shady will play, LaShawn McCoy, but I don't think he's going to do much because, the Patriots can really key. What they do great is they key on the opponent's best player. The opponent's best player is LaShawn McCoy. They really don't have to watch it for anyone else.
No, yeah, and it's going to be bad.
So,
will Patrick Chung be out there too? Because that's just another weapon.
Yeah, right now. And then Stephon Gilmore will take out Kelvin Benjamin, even though I'm pretty sure you could take out Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, I'd throw a cheeseburger on the side of the field unless I got Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah. Don't run those extra routes. So, starting Brady, starting James White, because James White is the man now with Sony Michel out. Kenyon Barner, not a terrible flex spot, especially if they get up and they want to kill that clock. Josh Gordon, we see getting more and more work each week. Julian Edelman, still Tom Brady's go-to guy, especially on third down. And Grunk's health is back to a full participant in practice. Now,
I like he say back.
Haha. Pun. Now that he is in practice or back to practice, he will be playing. However, if they get up, like you said, one of the first guys coming off that field is Gronk.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be out there blocking for field goals or extra points.
Now, that does not matter because of, like we always mentioned, tight end landscape. You're going to start him if Gronk is out there healthy and playing.
Yeah.
Just for that upside of receptions and touchdowns.
Yep.
Didn't really talk about Hogan. He had an decent game last week. I think,
but that was no Gronk. Honestly, that's what that was. It was no Gronk.
Yeah. Or Sony. Not that it really takes away from the passing game, but still. All right, that wraps up all of our Week 8 games that are yet to come, because we are now going to wrap up our Thursday night football game, which just ended. Miami at Houston. Houston beat Miami pretty handily. Deshaun Watson had himself a game. He had 5 touchdown passes, and he was most certainly a...
5 touchdowns on 20 attempts. Only 16 completions. 16 for 20. Only 239 yards and 5 touchdowns.
It's pretty good.
Lamar Miller had a great game. 133 yards and a touchdown. Nobody's upset with that.
No, I am not.
Nuke had 82 yards, 6 catches, 2 touchdowns. Very happy. Will Fuller had 5 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown.
Should we just roll the boss thing while you're saying all of these
Well, no, they're all, yeah, you're right, they're all bosses. And Will Fuller, like you said, got hurt. He said he's fine, but he did get hurt. And he still put up 124 yards on 5 catches. Had he not got hurt, I don't know what would have happened. Because Miami had no answer for him.
No, Miami's defense didn't have an answer. Pretty much anyone on that Houston offense.
The tight end for Houston, Thomas, 4 catches for only 29 yards, but 2 touchdowns. He might be tight end 1 this week.
He might be. Now,
did anybody start him? Did his mom start him in fantasy?
Yes, absolutely. It's your mother.
You sure?
We'll see. I'll call her up. But I did notice that at least one of those touchdown passes was just a broken play and Deshaun Watson was scrambling. You could tell he wanted to run it in the end zone himself, but Miami collapsed on that quick. But what happens when that defense collapses on the quarterback? It opens up those receivers over the middle.
So it's getting pretty scary in Brocktober. We're getting close to Halloween.
Oh, it's not Brocktober anymore. It's Osweiler, great and powerful.
Yeah.
Just don't look behind the man.
Don't look behind the curtain, okay?
Yeah, because he'll be exposed for what he truly is, and what he truly is just not a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's not. We're not even talking about him. What we're going to talk about though.
We have to talk about him because of how much more points Devontae Parker and other receivers like even Amendola and Grant would have got you if Brock Osweiler did not sail the ball 10 yards over their heads.
Yeah, and even Kenyon Drake, who had 2 receptions for 37 yards, but one of those catches was a 28-yard bomb from Amendola for a touchdown.
Better quarterback.
Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore both had 12 carries. Both were over 50 yards, but Kenyon Drake got the touchdown. Drake had 2 touchdowns on the day, which made him actually very much a boss for the game script they had. I was kind of surprised. Devontae Parker, I don't think Adam Gase can put him back on the bench. I think this is why he didn't want to play him, because he knew he was good and he knew he would. He had 6 catches for 134 yards. And those 6 catches, he had to work for each one. There was not one easy catch out of 6 of them. One of them was off his own player.
Yeah, that was an insane play where the ball careened forward 20 yards. Do you know what you just said, though, about Adam Gase? You said he didn't want to play Devontae Parker because he knew he was good.
Yeah.
When is he going to get fired?
I don't know. And
I have a good player. I should play him. I won't. Let's see how this works out for my job and my career. God, he is a bad. And there's a lot of coaches that are probably under the gun on the hot seat this year, but he has got to go.
Yeah. What will probably save him is that Tannehill hasn't played, and he'll do the same thing he did last year. Like, I didn't have a quarterback.
Now, maybe, just maybe, Devontae Parker isn't a good locker room presence, or something behind the scenes is also happening.
That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know why else, but it's the same thing with Kenyon Drake. Every year we see it too. Yeah, Frank Gore's been running the ball pretty well, and I get it. He secures the ball.
But Kenyon Drake is the east-west runner, and Frank Gore's north-south. So maybe that's just Adam Gase liking that running style better.
Yeah, but in a game like this, when you're down and you're trading field goals for touchdowns, you got to put the playmaker.
Oh, I agree. It's very hard-headed, old school football knowledge or kind of ways. But just saying that maybe that's a reason for it.
It's just Peyton Manning making more people money.
Peyton Manning?
Yeah. Adam Gase was the offensive coordinator for Peyton Manning one year.
So Peyton Manning was the offensive coordinator for Adam Gase one year?
Yep.
That's what you really mean by that?
Yep.
All right, I think that pretty much wraps up Thursday Night Football, right? I mean, we talked about all the Texans guys that had absolutely huge games and they were just bosses, and we talked about Miami. What could have been if they have a good coach, because I do think they have the talent there, but... Something you want to add?
No, just Adam Gase. Yep. He was quarterback coach and offensive coordinator for Peyton Manning.
Fact-checking me and proving your own facts?
Yeah.
Just like that dome. That greenhouse over there in Minnesota?
Yeah, with the retractable roof that they got open. Okay. With real grass.
All right. I think that wraps up our Week 8 preview. Yeah, it's a preview, right?
Yeah, preview.
All right.
We miss you, Josh.
We do miss you, Josh, but we hope we did this episode just fine without you. And I had to do a lot of research because what you bring, we miss you. You'll be back, though, for the recap episode for Week 8. And thanks again, all you listeners, joining in to another episode of the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. As it was just myself and Brad this time, but we hope we brought you all the great takes, who to start, who to sit, and what games to watch out for Week 8 of the NFL season. Coming up on halfway. Hopefully, you're doing well in your fantasy league, and if not, keep listening. Tweet at us at EmptyWagonFF. We'll get back to you. We'll answer your questions either directly back to you or on the show or on both. It's all a win, and it's all fun here at the Empty Wagon. Thanks for listening. Tune in again to the next episode.
And everybody's down those leagues. Remember, it's always going to be another mountain to climb. Always going to be another loss. Just waiting on the other side.